The Extron.
The Rashid family is something of a miracle in itself. An American story of Lebanese immigrants settling in the New World, seeking and finding good fortune, and propagating so widely that its members are in every state. Life magazine, Look magazine, and many other journals have, through the years, reported on how the Rashids grew in number to 3,500 and produced their own family newspaper each month. Dr. Philip Rashid is one of 18 children born to a beautiful and extraordinary woman named Saida.
My mother was a tiny woman. She weighed 85 pounds and she's about 5 feet tall, but she had the aggressiveness and the intelligence. She couldn't read nor write a word of English, but she had an adding machine in her head, and she learned to speak Spanish, French, Arabic, and English. She educated herself. She didn't solve our problems for us, but what she did was show us how to cope with it. And that's where she came through.
The relationship between Philip and his mother is at the core of an epic saga of love, remorse, and redemption. Before reaching its final wondrous finale, it would take his life from wealth and flamboyance down into the deepest pits of depression.
I felt like I didn't see the trees, I didn't see the leaves on the trees, I didn't see the birds, I didn't see the flowers. I became in another world. I felt lost. I felt, I hated myself. I thought, what did you do? You killed your own mother that you felt that was the feeling I had.
From earliest childhood, Philip Rashid's admiration for Saida knew no bounds. He believed he had the perfect life with the perfect family. He was always an extremely religious man, once considered the priesthood. In the town where he settled, Fairfield, California, he was a respected oral surgeon, but he also became a sort of master of ceremonies for every social, charity, and cultural event he could involve himself with.
I was a show-off. I wanted to get in the stage and have everybody give me a standing ovation, which I deserved. I was a happy-go-lucky person.
And then came the day Philip Rashid would do something that would change the course of his life forever.
All of a sudden, my younger sister, there were three of us there, the oldest and youngest and myself, and she says, Philip, she hollered for, you better hurry, something's going on with Mom. And I ran in the room, and there she was struggling for air, and I dived right in and put the head back and started the routine treatment.
There was a moment there when Philip felt that his mother's life was in his hands alone.
I worked at it maybe for just kept at it thinking, she's coming back, and no way.
Saida passed away while in his hands.
And at that moment, I felt I'm the guilty one. I thought maybe had I not taken her to the doctor, maybe if we didn't give her these pills, maybe this, maybe that. And I felt, well, it was my error, that I'm the cause of this.
Saida's doctor probably didn't help his spirits when he later explained a theory on heart massage.
He said, I think maybe you don't feel bad because you didn't want to hurt your mother. And in giving the percussion, I was a little easy about it when I should have really, you know, but I just couldn't do that. I couldn't beat on her like that.
From that day, Philip Rashid would enter a world of bleak remorse. He would lose his flamboyance. Possessions no longer had their appeal. His practice lost its joy.
I was good for nothing. I burned out all day long. I'd see patients, and it'd work in my mind. It's funny, I can save this patient, and I couldn't do that for her. It would always come back to me.
In those bad years, Philip would sometimes look for signs, some signal from anywhere that would say his mother forgave him.
I drive down the highway, imagine I see the telephone pole look like a cross. There's the vision. Now, that's what she's telling me, that's it. Then I give out, it's a telephone pole. I go, well, that wasn't it.
And with the ever-deepening depression, Philip Rashid's health would begin to deteriorate. But one of his visits to his doctor would again be the next epic turning point of his life. It happened 4 years ago.
I was having some trouble in breathing, and the doctor felt I should have a complete chest x-ray of the lung.
As he sat in the reception area awaiting the results, Philip heard a small commotion among the nurses in the examining room.
The nurse that took the x-ray and the technician I was waiting in the reception room, and she's, "My God, look at this." And so I thought, my God, there must be cancer then, because of the way they're reacting. And the doctors ran in, and nurses and technicians, and they're all looking. And I thought, well, I've got to go in there. So I barged in, and I looked at it, and they says, "Take a look at this."
And there on the light board was the side x-ray of his chest. And as he got closer, Philip Rashid's heart began to pound.
First thing I looked at, I was looking for the pathology, because I know the cells and so forth. And I started looking around at it, because I didn't think to look at the end here, because this is where the bulk of the material was. And I was trying to see, well, do I see something there? It looked like it could be connected to cancer. And they had said there's something strange about this, but they didn't tell me where it was. But when I moved into the outer portion, then I saw, and I looked, and I said, well, gee, here's something. And my God, that's my mother. That's her picture. That's her.
The sign. It had to be the sign. Look at this photo of Saida. Even the outline of her hair bud, her facial structure, the brow. Dr. Philip Rashid, an extremely intelligent, rational, and religious man, the significance of this moment shook him.
I asked to have a copy of the x-ray, and I left the clinic and got into my car, and I picked it up and held it again and looked at it. I had gone maybe half a block, and I began the tears rolling, and I stopped the car and I cried.
There are doubters, even among his own family, but all agree it is their mother's face.
My sister refuses to accept it as a phenomena. She says it could be a phenomena, but it's not a miracle. And I say, it's a phenomena, it's a miracle, it's anything you want to call it, as long as it helps me and helps my fellow man to realize there is another life.
For Philip, though, the unexplainable existence of the image of Saida has become a fundamental rebirth.
She came to me, finally found a means of communication with me, and this is it. She appeared for that reason, to pacify me, to change my mind about what I felt the guilt about. And she's telling me from the face, the look on her face is, stop this and get on with your life.
He hesitated for 4 years before allowing his story to go public. He is a respected doctor, a town leader, a pillar of the church. Despite his deepest convictions, there is obvious risk in talking about it. His decision to tell the whole astonishing saga to us did not come easily. But he believes it will record the final chapter of his turbulent, emotional life and bring him the final freedom from the remorse that imprisoned him for so long. Philip's mother has blessed him.